Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Cancer season, Libra Sun, Moon, and Rising. All right, Libra folks. So this Cancer season is really abundant and rich. I will say, however, your cards are a little dicey. Not going to lie, I like to give honest readings. I think a lot of it has to do with you being in a square to Cancer and also having Neptune and Saturn opposing your sign. So your season with your Libra placements is a little trickier than some. But a reminder that this, Libra is in everyone's chart. So you're not just like picked out of the group. It's just a tricky place to be in with kind of that T square that's happening, especially at the beginning of the seasons. Just know that there's that. Also, I do have an accompanying astrology video. It's the astrology for Cancer season or of, I can't remember. But you can check that out for more in-depth astrological stuff. But yeah, we start off with this card, Lost, which I think is interesting. And the little script underneath is choose joy as your compass. Not all is obvious in Cancer season for you. I think this is a really beautiful imagery because technically there's a really lovely, beautiful castle on the other side of this wood, but from this person's vantage point, they cannot see it. It is not clear the abundance and the safety on the other side of what might be a difficult season for you. So just know that it's okay to be lost. And that in this moment, I really think the advice of this card rings true, which is choose joy as your compass, or choose desire as your compass, or choose love as your compass, or choose whatever is important to you to be your compass this Cancer season. You are going to need direction as you navigate some pretty tense astrology all around, depending on the degree of whatever the stuff you have in Libra is going to be kind of when this stuff hits you. If you have early degree, you are definitely in that pinch point with, Saturn and squaring everything. But on top of that, there is still, it's not all doom and gloom. There is still some really lovely astrology. Yes, it is squaring you, but you do have a lovely new moon in Cancer. There is that tricky, full moon in Capricorn that will be a giant grand cross um, to anything that you have, and that Saturn over in Aries. But I think there are some really lovely lessons and something really wonderful on the other side. But let's get into the cards because when I pulled them, I was like, oh, this is different from every other card that I've read today. Starting off, we have the Death card. This is not an easy card or a simple card. It is very, kind of gnarly in this deck. But there is a sense of transformation and rebirth. Also, do not forget that Uranus goes into Gemini. We have one of those big shifts of 2025 happening. And so it's a lot. But not to sound morbid, but death is always near. I had a tattoo done yesterday, and the tattoo artist had future corpse tattooed on their leg. Everything that we work with is going to degenerate and die eventually. And things that seem like they're going to last forever are currently dying now. I mean, look at the US and the systems that we live under. Um, the other card is very positive for that. However, in our personal lives, there might be some things that we are afraid of losing. So don't lose track of this as, yes, a difficult card, but a card that also leads to abundance and growth and rebirth as we go through the dying process and the composting process, and then putting that back into our proverbial soil and creating new life and growth. Um, and this kind of is a partner card to this, but we do have Seven of Wands. There's a bit of a battle here. It feels like we are on the precipice of something, fighting for something that's really valuable and important for us. I think the beautiful thing of this card is that while this one light has to stand alone, it's very close to some other brands that's going to catch on fire pretty soon. So if you feel alone or isolated in this moment, it's not going to last forever. You're not stuck here. And you're not alone. You're just not connected. So I do encourage you to try to find connection in and around this season. Even in the moments where it feels like death and decay and, being lost and isolated kind of overtake you, to remember that you aren't alone. You're just the only one nearby who's caught on fire yet. And you are here to burn and to illuminate and to bring life and joy and warmth to the world around you. And then we have this one, which I think is very needed and necessary, and a reminder of our strength and power, and a reminder of what Saturn is doing in Aries. We do have a Father of Wands. There is strength and understanding and an ownership of passion and desire and the needs that we have and the movement that we are taking in our dreams. Now, of course, having a father or a king does put us in a position of power, which puts us in a position of responsibility. But that's not a bad thing. It is time for you to claim your dreams. It's time for you to take ownership of the path that you want to tread. And I think, in a sense, to not view yourself as at the whims of the universe, as, a little piece of driftwood afloat in a sea of the unknown. You are a beacon and a lighthouse for yourself, for others, for your community. And something that's reoccurring, even though this is a very different spread from the other readings I've done earlier, this is about getting really oriented around your passion, oriented around what you want, and shifting things not only internally but externally, bringing the energy you want to see in the world, and then sparking off of other people's energy and creating not just a moment for yourself, but a moment for everyone who's interconnected with you to have this passion and this hope and these desires and these dreams, and to stand on them and say, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what happens, these are mine and they don't belong to anyone else. And this death process is mine. And this brand, isolated alone, is mine. And no one can take that from you. And in this Cancer season, I think it is, the squares are going to be hard, the oppositions are going to be hard, but it is cementing who you are and what you desire. And a lot of my Libras have issues making decisions and choices, which isn't a bad thing. It makes you very good at seeing different perspectives. But this is a moment, with, especially with Saturn in opposition, where you are having to say, no, regardless of the possibilities, this thing is what I want. And I'm going to work on that, even if other people are not in sync with me, even if it seems that society is against me, which isn't true. Society may be against you, but the multitudes are not. And really taking that and owning that and putting your stamp on it. And things, like I always say, because I'm very mutable heavy, is like things can shift and change, and that's fine. But there are moments in time where we have to take a stand, where we have to embrace what may be difficult and what might be putting us at odds with others. And it's not easy, and it can be overwhelming. We do have a Ten of Swords. All of this astrology is a lot for you. And it isn't easy, and it is tricky to be in the position that you are often in. I also remind people, having Cancer in one of the most visible places in your chart is hard, because so often people see that as a receptacle to put all their problems in. And if you are unable to put forward boundaries, and even when you do put boundaries, people push on them. Every Libra rising I know gets their boundaries pushed by someone all the time. So this is a moment to really be like, you know what is my capacity? And if your capacity is full, be like, don't touch the boundary. Don't even try. I don't have capacity for this. This season does feel overwhelming. I will remind you that eventually in Virgo season, you will get Saturn out of your sign for a hot second. It'll be a bit of a breather, but just know that when you are like incapacitated and overwhelmed, it's not a personal failing. It just means that you need rest. So I encourage you this Cancer season to take rest, especially that new moon in Cancer. Really take a step back. Everyone else, I've really encouraged to do spell work, and I'm not discouraging you from doing spell work on that, new moon. But if you were too exhausted, don't push it. Manifest to the universe with whatever simple, raw amount of energy you have. Don't force yourself to do anything that is just overwhelming, because you deserve space and rest. And if you need to manifest under this new moon, the universe will help you do that. Last but not least, I do love this. We do have the Strength card. I do think in Leo season, you'll be feeling a bit of reprieve. A reminder, we do have a Mercury retrograde coming up. So starts at the end of this Cancer season. I think it starts on the 17th. But you have strength and fortitude on your side. And it may seem hard and difficult, and I think parts of the season will. But I think parts of it will be deeply and richly rewarding. And on the other side, you are going to have an abundance of strength and energy and power from those battles you have fought, from those moments you have endured, from that death process that you have engaged in and committed to engaging in. Um, and I'll say this, death is not always an unwelcome guest. Maybe death is what you need right now. Um, and that's okay. Maybe wandering and being lost is what you need right now. Just make sure to take lots of naps to take care of yourself and to feed yourself. But do not forget your personal strength. Do not forget the power that you have and the magic that you contain in these moments of exhaustion. And when you find these pockets of strength and celebration in Cancer season, take them, enjoy them, and really let them feed and nurture you because, yeah, you do have some tricky cards here, and I'm not going to deny it. But there is strength and power, and there is also strength in endurance and in fortitude, which is this card's kind of archaic name. Anyways, my loves, that is my reading for you. If you have any questions or comments, please pop them below. Also, please like and subscribe if you like my stuff or my face. It encourages me and makes me feel good about the stuff that I create. Anyways, I wish you a blessed Cancer season, and I wish you all of the rest and support and tender care that you deserve. And I will see you in a different space.